It's Small Talk Friday. Free for all Friday coming to you guys live from Winnipeg, Canada. This is Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends with my biggest radio voice this morning for you guys. You've just turned into the most addictive live morning show that's here to kickstart your day with relentless laughs. Yeah, relentless laughs, producer Jimmy. Brutally honest, real talk, and enough motivating content to turbocharge your ass out of bed. Oh, I'm feeling wired. I got a few things on my mind, Jimmy. I think they're just going to come out. Today, we're jumping right into the deep end of the pool. Like, no floaties allowed. Nope. No. Jimmy, you know those floaties you see dangling in the pool sometimes? Yeah, we're not talking about them today. First, coming up, we're going to dive into fitness controversy with a viral warning. Don't stop. Guys, stop training those obliques. Well, we'll see what Andersen has to say about that one. If you want to keep that waistline and your spine intact, we're going to get into that. Kick off the show here today. Center stage, we're going to put managers on blast by exposing the one critical time of the day that makes or breaks your feedback sessions. Think about it. When's the best time to communicate with your team? Do you think it's at night before they go to bed, first thing in the morning, middle of the day? We're going to talk about that today. After that, we're going to get into some beyond motivation, no nonsense, science-backed system to build some routines. We're going to get into some minefield discussion with Zeglen. We're going to talk about marriage and divorce. My goal is to keep it light today, so these are topics we're throwing on the table, but the show is really about you guys today. Yeah. What do you guys want to talk about? We're talking ketchup too, Jimmy. We're talking ketchup. The big debate is back. Ketchup, does it go in the fridge? Does it go in the closet? Or does it go in the counter? Did I say closet? Maybe I meant the pantry. Second hour, we're going to examine the enhanced games. Is humanity about to blow the limits off athletic and performance, or is it just a dangerous Pandora's box? Gonna get into push-ups versus dips, the ultimate chest-building face-off. What is it? Is it dips or is it push-ups? Good morning, everybody. I see all there in the comments this morning on Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. Your stories, your victories, your embarrassing misfires on the community cower on the bottom, the community corner on the bottom of the first hour. Second hour, man, the words are not coming out here today. And hey, guys, just don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment and be part of the movement that's helping men everywhere wake up stronger. And heads up, this is an unapologetic. Just a reminder, guys, this is an unapologetically R-rated show. So kick the kids out or invite the kids to some new language they're going to learn this weekend with old Uncle Keith, the handsome chief, Jon Andersen's assistant, and whatever other title you want to give me, the tall, short guy. Yeah. And remember, you hit that snooze button, you're going to be 9 minutes behind the guy who doesn't. Well, but if you adjust your iPhone with new iOS 26, you might be just 3 or 15 or whatever that number is. But the reality is, just stop hitting the snooze button, you guys. It doesn't offer you any value. No value to hitting that snooze button. We're here to start. We're here to help start your day. Get up, get after it, give you some insights, teach you something, give you some morning news, give you some morning science to get after it. But hey, Jimmy, how are they going to communicate with us this morning? Oh, I know. 431-300-3005. The morning hotline is open. Yep, the Mornings in the Lab hotlines. Send your text. Send your voicemail. Give me a call right here live on the air, 431-300-3005. And if the show is not live and you're listening to this after the show on the podcast, yeah, I said podcast on the show. If you're listening to it after, I might answer. Or you can leave a voicemail. You could leave a voicemail. You could send me a text. We could have some good old fun with the Mornings in the Lab hotline. Speaking of hotlines, Jimmy, let's pivot over to, we got the store open too. The Mornings in the Lab store. The morning.store. Yeah, true story. I invite you guys to get after that as well. We got some hats. We got some stickers. The world's greatest sticker. Yeah, the world's greatest stickers up there on the store. If you want to stick a sticker on anything you want, maybe it's your laptop, maybe it's your wall, maybe it's your head. Maybe it's your wife's back. The greatest sticker ever invented. We've, Jimmy, man, I had a CNC factory. I had laser machines. I had a whole team of folks over in China working on this sticker. You know, the edges, the corners, the sides. I'm telling you, man, it's the best sticker ever made. You can see it there on the screen there, guys. The font is, it's a League Spartan font. The edges are meticulously just lined to 8.3 millimeters. I'm telling you guys, the green is an exceptional 00FF7F font on the green. Man, you will not find, Jimmy, you're not going to find a sticker like this anywhere on the planet. And it's only $6 US. telling you, it's $6. It's the greatest sticker ever invented. So I invite you guys to check that out over on the Mornings in the Lab store. You're only going to get a sticker in one place here, and you're going to find it right here in the Mornings in the Lab store. And hey, let's keep it going, Jimmy. We put a poll up. Yeah, we put a poll up this week, you guys. And listen, Jimmy, do I bring the joke out this morning before anybody's here? Do I bring the joke out? Do I don't know. No jokes this morning, but we are going to bring the poll up. You eat ketchup? Where do you store your ketchup? Before we do that, Jimmy, we're going to bring up the Jonathan Andersen. We'll come back to the poll. We're going to get into the poll this morning. Where does the ketchup sit? On the counter, in the fridge, in the closet, in your pantry, maybe in your bathroom? Where does the ketchup go? We're going to talk about it today. But until then, we got the man himself sitting in a different environment. Looks like Johnny Anderson's here. What's shaking, brother?
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm actually in our, I guess we could call this the indoor-outdoor room.
Oh yeah?
I'm actually, yeah, it's actually a beautiful morning. But everybody's that fucking house is filled with people, so it's like this. My studio is filled, so it's like
I was thinking it this morning. I was grabbing my shower and I was thinking about you. Not in the shower. No, I was after the shower, thinking about the show, and I started thinking about you. And I'm thinking, John's got a house full of people here. I wonder where everybody's sleeping. Clearly, I was onto something because your studio is full. Yeah,
yes, you are.
Yeah,
but it's kind of a blessing because, man, it's beautiful out here. The sun's coming up right over there.
Yeah, there you go. So behind you there is like a fireplace there. I've seen some pics at your fireplace behind you, like a little outdoor fire pit. That's
actually if I'm looking in front of me, I see the hot tub, the pool, then the fire pit, and the little place to sit. Behind me, it's actually where I do my those two chairs.
Yeah.
That's my smoking area.
There you go. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome, man. You know what? And there's nothing better than a nice sunny morning in California. Like it's probably, I bet you it was 78, 80 degrees this morning, probably a little bit. Like who knows the temperature, but it's probably nice. It's just sun's coming up. It's early. It's quiet. Like, dude, you can't get better than that.
No, I'm not complaining.
No.
Other than just fucking shitting up a storm. Holy Christ.
Uh-oh.
Listen to this. This is pretty crazy. So I did this on purpose.
Of course.
So I knew that I asked Terry because Terry's like so on top of this. She literally writes out a menu for when the kids come.
Right? Yeah. Oh yes.
So the first meal I had with them was last night.
Yeah.
And she was making one of a really killer salad. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna not eat any greens for the 24 hours leading up to it, so that when I have that salad, I can test my turnover time.
Oh. Yeah. So you've been shitting forests. You've been shitting California redwoods.
What was the text I sent you this morning?
Oh, I didn't see it. I was in the studio. Let me have a look. Actually,
read the text, dude.
Shitting up a storm this morning. Probably going to be a few minutes late.
Dude, that salad turned the corner quick. It started turning the corner about 3:30. So
my God! Yeah,
7:30. It was literally 7:30 was the marker last night. 7:30.
Yeah.
You could even argue closer to 8 o'clock because I was a little bit, but either way, that's the efficient digestion, baby.
Wow, that's awesome. Hey, I want to talk digestion for a second with you. I want to go here with you for a second. So I always joke with my crew, man. There's certain foods, dude, that I swear that I rent them. Like I'll go grab I don't know. Like I'll have some Mexican food at home. Here you go. Have some Mexican. Like I come whole ingredient food. True story. Like some Mexican food, ground beef or ground steak and vegetable. Like just like nothing shitty, right? No process, just Mexican food. I swear, brother. Half an hour, it's in and out of my body. Pure rental. What's your point of view on that?
I think there's a couple different ways. There's two different ways to look at it.
Yeah, tell me.
Either something in there, like if I had some Mexican food and there was some sort of fucking pepper in there, like if I feel it on my tongue even a little bit,
yeah, that
shit is fucking burning through it. My body is like evacuates. It doesn't like spicy food. So
interesting.
It's getting it out of there. Maybe it's foreign enough that your body doesn't want it in there. Right?
Interesting, because there's certain things, Johnny. Like there's certain things, brother. We laugh because it's like, oh yeah, there's Dad renting his food there. Like actually, I'll eat it, and then less than 30 minutes, it's out of me, and it's crazy.
But here's the question:
Yeah.
Is it that food, or is it the food from yesterday? How can you verify that?
Well, and that's
I know
it.
for sure it was salad because I could see the fucking.
Yes.
I mean, Christ, this fucking lettuce, it hasn't even turned all the way brown yet. For Christ's sake.
Morning movements, creating morning momentum on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, Keith and Johnny. Oh my God. What's going on, Christopher Lace? Look at the glasses on these two. Yeah, Johnny's got a nice pair and I got a nice pair as well. Hey, Johnny, I don't know if you were part of the show here. We had this conversation a few months back. Melissa did a great job throwing a poll up here. Where do you store your ketchup?
Ketchup, yeah. Well, here's the deal. I don't fucking live in a house where a condiment on the fucking counter looks like it should be there. Like, who forgot to put the shit away?
Oh, I know. Oh, man.
My house is fuck. I mean, people come to my house and are like, fuck, this is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, Terry is a decorating machine.
Yes. Yeah. Dude, clutter on counters and just shit sitting everywhere. I'm like, no, the fucking ketchup goes in, or the cereal box goes, or the stuff goes in the fridge, like, right? So, we ran the poll this week, and 83% people put the ketchup in the fridge, pantry 6%, table 3%, and 8% don't touch ketchup. But the real fun was in the comments. Rich Emmerich, who's been on our show, says fridge because the tiniest bottle takes almost a year to go through, but if I use it all the time, it's the pantry. He's from Pittsburgh. Fries don't get ketchup there because the fries go on salads. Dave Kovacs broke out the science. Kitchen will ferment. Restaurants keep it on the table because it goes so fast. Beatrice said Shlomo keeps it in the fridge door, but he's not partial. Roofy, who's going to be on the show bottom of the hour, Johnny, door in the fridge, warm ketchup is runny and gross. I will say that I do not like warm and runny ketchup. Although I do like a ketchup sandwich, Johnny.
Ketchup sandwich. Holy shit.
Yeah. So
what are you putting that on? There's fucking couple of pieces of bread.
So I don't eat them anymore. But when I was going through my journey of growing up and trying to figure out my, I was trying to be a bodybuilder, young man growing up, and I was trying to figure out carbs and eating and shit. I was like, oh, and I'm not bullshitting you, man. I'm like, okay, well, I could have a little bit of carbs, just some bread and a little bit of butter and some ketchup, and I got addicted to ketchup sandwiches. Yeah, you put a little bit of butter on a couple pieces of bread, throw some fucking ketchup in there. And dude, listen, I did not grow up with a silver spoon. I grew up with a lot of coal. So mom and dad, it was Kraft Dinner and Click. And you know what? We're the same age. So those brands we're talking about, right? So it was, the ketchup sandwiches were quite welcome from time to time.
Yeah, I did mayonnaise sandwiches.
Oh.
but I was, the difference was that I don't know how old I was. But down deep, I knew that this was not in pursuit of anything other than being a fat ass.
So hold on. Here's the key question, my brother. Good morning, Brophy. I see you there, pal. Hey, Brophy, how's those Scott Steiner arms coming along? Johnny, Brophy leaves a comment yesterday or a couple days ago in the feed. He's like, yeah, I'm still doing the Scott Steiner arm workout that I've been doing for whatever, 20 years, whatever it is. So I'm like, dude, how's that working out for you? Scott Steiner, the wrestler, was pretty funny. But mayonnaise. Do you buy mayonnaise or Miracle Whip? Maybe not today, but what did you grow up with? Miracle Whip or mayonnaise?
My fucking mom would never buy fucking Miracle Whip.
My mom and dad did because they couldn't afford the mayonnaise.
Yeah, I was going to say that's it. Usually if you're buying shit like that, it's because you're on a limited budget.
Yes, you know yes. Yeah, exactly. Free for all.
Hey, before I forget, brother, I got to go at 6 because I got to get some shit done. I'm trying to get all my work done for everybody.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. 100%. That's great. I appreciate that. Hey, so I want to lean into something that kind of went out, so today's Free For All Friday. I've kept it pretty light. Got a bunch of topics. Jimmy, we'll go to the accountability check in a couple minutes here, Jimmy, but I want to get into small talk and I want to get into, Jimmy, here's what we're going to do. Jimmy, let's do the accountability check-in, and then I want to come back with Johnny. I got a couple of things I want to get off my chest. And not ranty.
I love it.
Just to get off my chest, to have a little chitter chatter, get after with my brother from another mother, Jon Andersen. It might have to do with small talk, and it might have to do with a comment made by the Trump administration yesterday. And actually, I don't disagree with it. The world's fucking lazy, man. Johnny, I know you're going to agree with what I say. Jimmy, let's do the check-in, brother.
I am capable. I am strong. I will achieve my goals. Today is a new day.
This morning, we get after it every single day at 8:15 Eastern Time. We're a little bit late today on the Free For All Fridays. 3 ways to stay consistent when you want to quit. Guys, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. You want to know what kills consistency? The fucking snooze button. Yeah. Blaming your schedule, your energy, or the weather. Small talk, Jimmy. Small fucking talk. Trying to overhaul your whole life at once. Chasing new hacks every week. Well, that's not going to work. Here's how you're going to fuel it. You're going to choose your non-negotiables. One thing every single day, no matter what. For some, it's a 6:15 a.m. cold shower. For others, it's texting a daily win to their accountability partner. For me, it's taking care of my human machine. Yeah, it's a machine, all right. Before anyone or anything else gets in my attention, pick yours, never break it. If it matters enough, you're going to stick to it. Zoom out. You think waking up early and winning the day is a morning motivation problem? Well, it's actually a how did I spend last night problem. Think about it. If your habits before bedtime sucks, your morning habits are going to suck. That's a true story. Surround yourself with people who expect better. If no one cares about how well you're sticking to your goals, you're probably going to find excuses to stop pursuing it. So, hey, I invite you to hang out with those people who support the hell out of you, but also call you out when you slip. So no matter how disciplined you are, everyone needs an accountability check-in. And we get after it daily on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, Jimmy, let's bring Johnny back up here, man. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep that momentum rolling.
Hey, so real quick, if you know that I'm a little more monotone today, it's because I'm trying to not wake people up.
Oh, good. Today's the day we can just throw shit at Johnny and he can't respond like he really wants to respond.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit more of a subtle, comeback, if you will.
That's fair. That's fair. Hey, so yesterday we had a wonderful conversation with Marty and John, and we had a call come into the show yesterday, actually after you left, and it was regarding Juneteenth, and it was a recognition of there was a lack of awareness on my behalf and maybe our behalf. Yeah, no,
I didn't know what it was either,
and I want to address it. Because I was thinking about it for a long time yesterday, and my good friend Chris McCarthy, CEO of Fansays, co-founder of Fansays, solid dude, Johnny. You're going to meet Chris one day. He called in, and we were talking about it during the show. Actually, he called on the show, and we talked about it a little bit. And I heard his point of view and everything. And I said to Chris, and after the show, I sat down with Melissa, and we kind of wrote up a post, Johnny. And I think you're going to love this. We don't do days here in the lab. We don't do Father's Day, Mother's Day, birthdays, every day, someday, one day, yet, Juneteenth. No, we do every day.
Every day, yeah. I'm
tired of people that are just picking the day and they're going to make something out of it. No. Yeah. If you guys would make every day important, then you wouldn't have to take a day off. And that's the fucking problem with everybody is that we guide. Oh, there's the day there. Now I'm going to celebrate. No. So while I don't want to be, do not misunderstand my passion, everybody, for wanting to ignore or recognize the end of slavery yesterday, Juneteenth. I do not. That's not.
You're saying you want to recognize it every day. You're not
that's
saying
exactly it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about it is this.
And that's why, John. That's why everybody gets caught up on I'll do it one day or I'll do it someday because we've been taught
it's the way we're fucking programmed.
Yes,
100%. Yeah, well, and this one too, I gotta say, this motherfucker is this holiday is a little bit in code because there's Veterans Day, there's Martin Luther King's Day. Very easy to understand what day it is. This one is a little bit. It's it's a little cryptic.
Well, and
the name of it anyway.
Yes, and what I'm going to say next has nothing to do with politics, just pure opinion. Yesterday, the administration says, why do we always have to have all these federal holidays? It's like there's a federal holiday here, a federal holiday there. Like, why don't people go to fucking work? And I agree, man. It's like every day I turn around the corner, there's a fucking federal holiday somewhere in the States, somewhere in Canada. It's like, Jesus Christ, man, go to work, everybody.
Dude, I'm starting. We haven't talked about it definitely, but I'm starting a new business, right?
Yeah.
What we love to do.
Yeah.
Well, fuck, man. I'm going to deal with some of, as we get in these bank accounts set up and blah, blah, blah. I go to log in and I'm like, God damn it. I must have written something down or I can't log in. So I go to call a fucking bank.
They're closed.
They're fucking closed. I'm like, God damn it. Are you fucking kidding me?
I
agree. I agree. What we should do on these days, we should work an extra hour, not take the fucking day off. Putting in more work is celebrating that day.
I know someone say, "Oh, Bill, you're a curmudgeon." No, actually, no. I think that these holiday here, holiday there, celebrate this, celebrate that, just perpetuates mediocrity for all of us. That's what it does. It just helps us perpetuate and celebrate and accept mediocrity.
Well, you think like this: if it's my birthday and you do something extra, that's celebration of my birthday. Not that I give a shit, because my birthday is the day I don't care about my birthday.
Yeah.
But if somebody chose to do something extra, that would show the sacrifice, the celebration. Somebody saying, "Oh, I'm gonna not do my shit because it's your birthday." How is that a celebration? It's complete backwards thinking. So again, I think on these holidays, everybody should show up go an hour early or stay an hour late. That shows the respect, the celebration, whatever adjective you want to use.
Yes. Well, and so then to me, this just perpetuates the common thing of, "Oh, well, I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to have a successful business." Okay, well, go to work. No, actually, it's going to be hard. You're probably not going to make it. Well,
brother, I got this saying. I don't know if it's come out yet, but I've got it scheduled to come out. It's not out, and it applies perfectly to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And the saying I use is, everybody wants to be a lion until it's time to do what lions do, which is kill.
Yeah.
Right? Well, fucking A. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur until it's time to fucking do the work when nobody's fucking looking. When you got to do the work and there's no fucking progress. It's the same thing.
Well, here's a good example.
Everyone wants the fucking title, but nobody wants to be a killer.
Here's a good example. And here's where I find, anyways, many folks are scared. It's saying the no thing. So last night, Lauren and Brookie and some friends went to the Red River X, which is our local fair here. It comes every summer, right? And I was invited. And I know they would have loved to have me come. I would have loved to have gone. To be frank, I looked at my list of things to do. I looked at my day today, Carter's graduation today and tonight, and I got plans tonight and tomorrow, and I got some things going on. I'm building a business here. Well, last night was a no. It was a sacrifice. Sometimes you got to make those sacrifices, and most don't. And I'm like, no, sometimes you got to miss things that the family is doing, because that's just how it works, man. It's just how it works. And
but also keep in mind, everybody hearing, he was making a sacrifice of one thing. I mean, to go into the fair does not equal a graduation. Well, graduation comes one day. You got that's where you can say one day, because that's not happening on every day.
Yes.
The fair, you can get to that probably another day before it leaves this year, but you guarantee it's coming back year after year.
Well, and here's what I've been fortunate to experience, and unless you've experienced it, and I know you have as well, I don't know if anybody can reconcile with how it feels. The best way for me to explain it to you is seasonal workers, folks that go work for 6 months, then take 6 months off, right? So maybe out landscaping or like seasonal work, right? When I went and busted my ass to build ICUC, Johnny, I fucking worked like a motherfucker for whatever it was, 3, 4, 5 years. And then I sold it. And then took basically 15 years off, like a seasonal worker. Right. And I don't want to say took 15 years off, but very much sat back. So for me, like last night saying no was in a period of time.
You're buying some future time.
It's the same way like you treat sleep, and I'm learning to treat sleep now. No, I want to live longer. So I'm gonna the hour that I would have stayed up last night because I was gonna have FOMO. No, I went to bed so I can be getter today and I can live longer tomorrow. Again, it's just rewiring the mindset and the thought process, right? So we got Brophy coming in with some of these holidays you're supposed to get time and a half, and it's a stat. Some companies won't pay double time, and you have to take the day off anyway. Well, so Brophy, I'm gonna offer you my opinion on this one too. I just get tired of people who get all caught up on. I wouldn't complain if every day was AI Keith Day. Just saying, fellas.
Dude, Jimmy. Hey, what the hell was that?
Oh, fuck. AI Keith making an appearance on the show today, just fucking cutting it up. Jimmy and Melissa have making some AI Keiths, and they've been cutting loose. Brophy. I don't know what the hell that was either, but I know there's a wild AI Keith in the wild, Johnny, and he's been kind of cruising around LinkedIn, and it's been fun. What's going on there, Roofy?
Yeah, they dropped me in. What's up, boys?
I see that. How are you today? I think we're going to call somebody here this morning, actually, in a few minutes. I think we're going to call, hey, Johnny, you know who didn't hit the snooze today?
Oh,
Kevin Owens.
from yesterday?
Yeah.
Did he reach out and say so?
We got a comment from him on LinkedIn here today. Let's
called him out.
Yeah, we did.
And he answered. He was right on it, man.
Let's give him a call and see if he answers, and we'll have some fun with him.
When that call goes through, he can see who it is. That's very clear on who it says who it is calling.
Does it say who it is?
I mean, granted, you're in my contacts, so that.
Oh yeah. Let's see what happens when
it's not coming from a blocked number by any means.
Oh, okay.
It's coming up. It looks like it's you calling, literally.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You can't tell it's going through some other. It looks like it's you calling right from your cell phone, even though it's going through another number.
Oh, there you go. What's going on, Roofy? How are you today, brother?
I'm doing all right, man. You know, I ended up crashing on the couch last night. Set me a little bit of a different direction, but getting up and getting after it. You know, that's wherever I land, I get up and I go.
Nicely done. All right, here let's see if Kevin Owens answers. I don't think he's answering. He's like, I don't know who this number is. 431-300-3005. He might be sleeping, Jimmy says. No, he's up.
Probably shooting.
Hello, you've reached the cell phone of Kevin Owens. Please leave your name, number, and a short message after the beep. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Kevin Owens, are you sleeping? Get up. Don't hit that snooze button. Owens, get up or call this number back, 431-300-3005. This is Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. There we go. We'll see if he calls us back. No, Brophy, it's not the WWE Kevin Owens. It's the basketball player Kevin Owens from yesterday. We had him on the show. And
7-footer, he said. I haven't met the guy. 7 feet
7
tall.
feet tall. Yeah. Johnny, what are you, 6? You said 6'8", aren't you, Johnny? 6'5"?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm like fucking barely 6 feet.
Oh, I thought you were like 6'3", 6'5". I didn't realize you were that short.
Yeah, no, I'm far from tall, brother.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, which made my journey in wrestling and in strongman that much harder.
Holy smokes! So if you're just 6 feet and you're taken aback by Kevin being 7 feet, you're really kind of going like this, because that's a big boy.
Dude, I was in the ring with 7-footers all the fucking time. I used to have to pick those fuckers up over my head. I can't tell you how many 400-ish men I had to put over my head. Yeah.
That's a good time. That's a totally good time. I think.
Yeah. They literally, because you practice, you got to make sure everybody's got to be on the same cadence.
Oh,
and everybody, picking up a dude like that, you got to kind of have your way with it. So there's looking at me, go, okay, what do you need? Because there's only very few people can do that. And they say, what do you need? I say, nuts and neck. They're like, what do you mean? I'm going to grab you by the neck. I'm going to grab you by the fucking nuts. And when you feel the nuts, I need you to give me a little jump, and up we go.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No.
Yeah. And sometimes when you're coming up, right, a lot of them are sitting on this thumb. So imagine this. If that thumb sneaks by the pelvic bone, that's what I'm doing. I'm holding on, baby.
No shit.
What do you think I got a hold of right
now?
Yeah,
you're holding the jump.
That is fucking straight scrotum that I'm holding on to.
Yeah, no shit.
So Johnny, I got a question for you, because I've been a wrestling fan my whole life, from back in the days of Jimmy Superfly Snuka and Andre and all those guys. How much of it is momentum and working together versus how much of it is your pure strength?
Well, figure like this. I mean, there's no question it's a combination. No question. But you have to have people that are extraordinarily strong to pick up those fucking giants.
Sure.
That's why. So you figure a normal guy, just about anybody can do one of those presses if you've got someone light that can jump, because he'll fucking jump halfway. All you got to do is kind of finish it. But how many fucking 400-pound dudes can jump even 12 fucking inches? Not very many. So I'm not getting a lot of fucking push off of that shit.
Yeah.
You know, so some of them, like there was a couple dudes that their jumping ability was so fucking minimal. We'd have to set it up to where like they were like getting up on the ropes, and I'd have to like, you know, come and get them under it so they're partially up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's just so many different ways that you got on a big dude. You got to kind of figure it out. But I guess here's the way to put it: you don't see many dudes that are over 300 pounds getting pressed up in the air, let alone the ones that are closer to 4. Yeah. Because the guy that's doing the pressing has to be strong enough, at very least, to support that fucking big load once they're up overhead.
So Brophy's coming in with the biggest person I ever saw was Andre, and he says, I trained with the Hearts. Yeah, there you go, brother, in 98. But I blew my ACL, PCL in both knees in a car accident and missed my window. Ah, there you go. Yeah. So I was obviously Johnny, the world famous wrestling Hart family out of Calgary, Alberta there. Johnny, so when Hulk then pressed Andre, that was a pretty big deal then, wasn't it? Like, I'm actually being serious. Like, that was a big deal because Andre would have given Hulk they would have obviously figured it out. But
I don't go. Hulk put Andre over his head. I don't believe that was the case.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that was
WrestleMania 2, I believe.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Well, right, because I mean, I'm trying to think when
it was a body slam, Johnny.
What's that?
It was yeah, it was a body. He did overhead, but it was a quick overhead and body slam.
No, dude, it was a body slam. All he did was
you're right. It was a body slam.
There's no fucking dude. He ripped a fucking Hulk ripped a fucking lat doing a body slam. I gotta tell you right now, nobody fucking pressed 500 some pounds overhead.
You're right.
All you're thinking about is seeing Andre's feet turn over like
yes. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It was actually that's
a fucking body slam.
Yeah.
Basically, even that was fucking difficult for Hulk. Was probably, well over 300 pounds.
Yeah, Brophy.
Right.
So
keep in mind, Andre, you can see he's not one that's going to give a lot. He's not giving a lot of momentum.
No, he's too lower body. Yeah, he's not going to give a lot. Yeah, he's not going to have a vertical roofie. Like,
But a press. You're talking. Let me make sure, because you guys are referencing a fucking body slam as a press.
Yes,
you're talking about this.
Yeah,
Jimmy. You're not talking about fucking just turning somebody over.
Johnny,
turning somebody over. Yeah, that's not. That's a fucking body slam. That's a fucking body slam.
That's right. That was right. And then Brophy comes in with it was a sign of respect from Andre when he allowed you to slam him. But you're right. Yeah, that wasn't a slam. It was a press because it was a slam, not a press, because it didn't go over the head. That's right. Yeah. Good clarification.
Yeah, over the head is where he's got. I mean, there's no space between the stomach and the presser's head.
Yeah,
it's called a gorilla press. Is the old school name.
Yeah, because I've seen some images of you with some guys over top of your head, like with you.
Yeah, but then some of those, like, there's some dudes like that are like, I guess you'd call them, they're fucking thick, right?
Yeah.
They're just dude, they're just fucking heavy. It's because the term would be, are you light or are you heavy? We're not talking about how much they weigh. We're talking about how much help they can give me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
If they say I'm heavy, sometimes they're fucking 180 pounds and they're heavy. They just don't have much ability to help you.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there was a dude, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It was a Japanese dude. It's been a while since I've been over there. But I had to put this dude overhead multiple times. Fuck, he was heavy as a motherfucker. Like, I remember a few times, like, getting him up. I'm going to fucking tear a bicep getting this fucker over my head. Like, I remember, because I did tear a bicep off, not doing that. And I came back to one of the biggest tournaments in Japan. It's called the G1. They're all TV matches. So my right arm is not totally healed from a surgery, putting my bicep back on. So I had to come into this fucking tournament doing everything from the left. And it was fucking weird for everybody because nobody's used to having, that's called left-sided. Nobody's used to left-sided work.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really like a dance, right? Like, you think about it, right?
100%. 100%. And see, when a company looks at me coming in, they think, okay, this guy looks great, but is he going to hurt any of our roster?
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, they're protecting their assets, right?
That's it. That's it. Hanging out with Keith and Jon and Matty Rouff this morning on Mornings Live with Keith and Friends, getting after it every single day. Free for all Friday. Keeping it pretty light, guys, as we head into the weekend on the Juneteenth weekend. Roofy, you may have heard my little ramble this morning to kick it off here. We always keep politics out of the show, but I did appreciate a comment that came out of the administration yesterday, which was along the lines of, there's just too many holidays. Like every fucking day we look, there's a federal holiday. I'd love to hear your opinion on it. Just seems like every time I look around the corner, we're celebrating something or other. And you may or may not have heard my comment with Johnny, but I said to Melissa, we're going to create a shirt. We're going to create a post, which is basically this, which is a list of things. Father's Day, striked out. Mother's Day, striked out. Birthday, striked out. Juneteenth, striked out. Every day, striked out. Someday, one day, striked out. The only day not striked out, every day. We don't do days here in the lab. We do every day. Because I think, Matt, when society spends too much time focusing on a day, it perpetuates mediocrity for every other day that it's not that day, right? So if it's like, okay, these 6 days of the week we're going to be mediocre, but that day we're going to go talk about mental health. No, why don't we talk about mental health every single day? Roofy, what's your opinion?
I love that. So there's a couple things that come to mind with that for me. Yeah. One is actually, I think this started with my grandmother, but my mother always says, if you got to have a special day to celebrate me, we're doing it wrong. Right?
Yes. Thank you, Grandma.
So every day is Mother's Day in my house. Every day is Father's Day in my house. Right? On the other side of it is, these mental health awareness day, colon rectal cancer day.
Yeah.
It starts as a way to just promote, right? So it's an awareness raising. So I'm all for awareness, right? I'm all for awareness. But again, it doesn't have to be a day. It doesn't have to be a day. But I do think about, so I came up through the healthcare industry, right?
Yes, you did. Yes.
And when I first started my career, there weren't all these days. Now everybody's got a day. But I think about some of the ones that have had some really big impact, honestly. Breast Cancer Awareness Month was the first big one that I can remember, right? October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And, more people are getting mammograms. More people are getting colorectal screenings because of these things. So I'm not entirely against those things, but the idea that you have to have a day to celebrate a certain person or a certain type of person is false, in my opinion. Right? We should be celebrating these things every day.
Well, and admittedly, I'll be
real quick. The problem with that, I agree with you, brother. Just so you understand, people are fucking terrible at doing things every day.
Yes, which is my hope and dream with this show and this platform we're building, Roofy and Johnny, is that we can get people thinking about every day and everyday habits and everyday accountability and everyday showing up and everyday awareness instead of mediocre. Okay, pick a day. Mediocre. Pick a day. No, I really want people to. So you're right, Maddie, awareness, and it's got to start somewhere. But again, that's the purpose of the show, is to create positive conversation, create daily awareness, and it all starts showing up in the morning. There's no rocket science going on here.
Yep. Wake up, get at her, have your non-negotiables. Those are things that I'm personally still working on. I work on every day, and I think about what am I not gonna acquiesce on today? What am I not gonna give up? Right? That's it. Gotta happen, right?
Yes. So let's offer some value this morning to our audience, other than just some good, fun, light conversation here today. But one of the things I want to get on the table was I found something quite interesting. And Johnny, you're a business guy. Maddie, you're a business guy. I guess I'm kind of a business guy. What if I told you that the difference between feedback that transforms your team, Jimmy, we're on the clip here, pal, and the feedback that destroys morale comes down to one simple factor. I thought this was fascinating, and it's so obvious. But John, when you're coaching your teams, and Maddie, as you've been coaching your teams, and as I coach my teams, there's some evidence here that there's the best time of the day to coach your folks. Jimmy, let's run the clip, the center stage clip. I know, I just surprised Jimmy. He wasn't ready. There you go.
Every morning, leaders face a choice. When you walk into that office, when you sit down with your team, when you need to have that difficult conversation, the difference between feedback that transforms and feedback that destroys isn't what you say. It's when you say it. Science proves it. Your team's brain is operating at peak performance in the morning. They're more receptive, more focused, more capable of growth. But most managers get this wrong. They wait until the end of the day when cognitive resources are depleted, when defensiveness kicks in. The best leaders know the secret. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings between 9 and 11 a.m. That's when real change happens. Master the timing, master the outcome. This is Morning Loop Reloaded.
Feedback, improving, accelerating growth, and creating the kind of workplace culture where accountability becomes a competitive advantage. And for men who want to lead with confidence and see real results, this changes everything. And some research found that scientists discovered that circadian rhythms, that humans have a higher tolerance for physical pain in the morning. Johnny, you and I talk about it all the time, compared to later on in the day. So think about that for a second. If we can literally handle more pain in the morning, what does it tell us of our ability to handle constructive criticism? The concept of decision fatigue backs this up completely. Judges are more likely to deny parole later in the day when their cognitive resources are depleted. Your brain is operating at peak performance in the morning, which means your team members are more receptive, more focused, and more capable of processing complex feedback without getting defensive. But guys, here's what gets really interesting, because the research shows that Monday morning feedback sessions can intensify what they call the Sunday scaries, that anticipatory anxiety that hits when the weekend ends. And Friday afternoon feedback, well, that's worse. Your team spends the entire weekend ruminating, spiraling into negative thoughts, and coming back to work Monday morning already defeated. So the research is suggesting, John, Maddie, if you want to give your team feedback, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning. Your team settled into the work rhythm, completely cognitively fresh, and they have time to process and implement changes before the weekend hits. Now, this might seem obvious, but in my experience in life, and as I observe and I watch, this is not obvious for everyone. Let's talk about it, guys. What do you guys think about that?
I think there's two points of this. First off, the time of day, because as the day goes forward, the noise in most people's head gets louder.
Yes.
The more noise it is, the less focus, the less capability a brain has. Then in terms of Monday, that whole thing, I think the leader needs to figure out, are these people fucking excited to come to work? Or are these people coming here going, fuck, I got to do this again today?
Yes.
Because people that have that Sunday fear, it's because they're locked into a situation they don't want to be in.
Yes.
So if you're leading a bunch of people that are fucking inspired Monday, they can't wait for that meeting Monday morning. If you're leading a bunch of people that fucking wish they had something better to do. So I think you got to identify on this element, what day you got to identify who are you leading, because that should help you decide how to deal with it. But in general, in terms of time of day, it just has to do with the fact that in the morning, the noise is less. That's my take.
So, Maddie, what's your thoughts?
Yeah. So when I was in the corporate world, I did it for 30 years. I ended up evolving to a system where I had kind of two rules, which were no group meetings before noon on Monday and nothing after noon on Friday, right? But what I do know is that what's really important is knowing your team. It's exactly what Johnny said. There are some people who need that thing first thing Monday morning because they're excited. They want to talk. Let's go. Let's get at it. They're ready to go. There's other people who need time to warm up, and so those people, how you treat those people and what you do is different, right? In terms of some people, you got to give a little bit of a moral support and boost. Other people, they come at you with the energy. I will tell you one thing that I did experience was at one point, one of the places where I worked, we went to a Monday morning, or not a Monday morning, everyday huddle, 9:00. You show up, every leader from directors from the hospital showed up, and we had a 10-15 minute huddle about what was going on in the day. And it started off as people going, what the hell is this? Why do I have to show up? I'm not going to get anything out of this. And it came down to the leader who was leading the meeting to get it going, right? And by the time a couple of weeks happened and people got used to the rhythm, it turned in time to connect, time to plan for the day, time to understand what other people had on their day. So the rest of the day was well organized. I knew that I shouldn't talk to this person because they've got this going on. I knew that this other person needed help over here. So I was able to adjust my day. So I absolutely love morning huddles. I agree, midweek is so much better than Mondays and Fridays, but it still, to me, comes down to knowing your people.
Yeah. What about you guys? What about you, Brophy? What about you, Lady Drew? What are you guys thinking about? Are you guys thinking about Monday, Friday? Brophy, what about your boss, or what about you as a boss or as a leader? What kind of days do you like to action your team, Johnny?
Let me sink back in there a little bit on the Friday portion.
Yeah.
So when we just accept that nothing gets done on Friday, that means that we become victim to this culture that's being bred. And we're, rather than saying, okay, you know what? Generally speaking, in the corporate world, this is what goes on. We're going to breed a different culture here. So let's be aware that this is what people do. Let's be aware that we're not going to do it. Maybe you need to create a reward system to get those people to not do that dumb shit on Friday. But the fact that a leader just says, hey, nothing gets done on Friday is basically a license not to do anything on Friday.
Well, I appreciate what you're saying, but that's not what I meant. So
Okay.
Just for clarification, I said no group meetings on Friday. It's not nothing gets done, but
Okay, well, let's go a little
Friday
further.
afternoon.
So Friday, but if that's the culture of the corporate world, why not reframe the culture?
You can reframe it, you know.
Yeah, and I think that would be the move. That's where I would go. I would look at, okay, this is what everybody believes happens, but it's not a high performance belief. So let's restructure how we look at this thing.
Where I really struggled with the corporate culture when I worked in it was, and I'm sure.
And I've never been there real quick. So, of course, this is all in principles. I've never
Yeah. And Johnny, I was there. So I'm an entrepreneur. I had people who know me and would know me. You were in the corporate world? Yeah. And I didn't do very well in it because I swam upstream. And you know, I really like to create a culture of results. I don't care how you get your results, where you get your results, what time you get your results. I want the results. Right? So I go back to a professional athlete. You know, I've drafted you, or I've hired you, or I've signed you because I've seen your work ethic. I can see your skills, and I want the results that you can deliver for me, right? And I think it's the same way with work. So I'm not. I think bosses who schedule Friday afternoon meetings are losers because they're just because they can't figure out their life. And I'm not, Johnny, all about taking Fridays off. No, I'm about delivering results, right? Mm-hmm. So. You know, it's a 7-day week, whether it's a Sunday, to Saturday, to Friday. I'm about delivering results. Folks want to have their weekend. That's fine. 7 days are 7 days to me. Results are what matters most to me, right?
100%. And I wasn't an attack to you, Roof. That wasn't an attack to you. It was more of an attack on the idea. It's like the whole someday thing. People just accept someday. Well, somehow, some way in this world, this is a belief that people have. When in actuality, it's a belief because it's been done enough. It's normal.
It's perpetuated.
If it's rewritten, so to speak, then a new normal enters the equation.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, Monday mornings and Friday afternoons, I practice what's called MBWA, management by walking around. Yeah. Right. So this is being present individually for people rather than meeting in large groups. And that's where I talked about Mondays. I knew certain people I had to get and get energy behind them and get them going. Other people, I sat back and let them tell me what was going on because I knew my people.
Yeah,
Friday,
a good leader,
same thing. And it's a way to observe exactly what John said. Are you fucking around on a Friday afternoon, or are you getting at it? Right? I'm here. I'm present. So it's that Hawthorne effect. Management, things get done when management is around, but it's also a way to observe what's people's mental state heading into the weekend, coming out of the weekend. So that's how I did it. It worked for me.
What I would think, and Grant, I have no experience in the corporate world, but my thought is the meeting on Friday, at the end of the day, we can basically kind of forecast what's coming on Monday. So everybody comes in with a clear idea of what they're doing, which should alleviate that Monday morning stress. If someone has a clear picture, that's why I'm a big one on systems. I don't get anxiety over the unknown of the near future because I've got systems that just basically tell me how it's going to be done. I'm not really making a mistake per se. The system needs to be adjusted. So it takes the pressure off of me / even my team. But I think that preparation is what allows people to have less anxiety.
Matt, you know where so for the record, Matt, I love management by walking around, and I love that whole concept. I was raised with those philosophies as well. Where I struggle with that though, Roofy, is where we as leaders get into a habit of management by walking around and perpetuating humans that actually are children. And what I mean by that is that because we've done a poor job as a leader hiring the right human. And what I mean, and you and I are working together right now. Like, I don't manage you because I've decided to welcome an adult aboard. Yep. Right. And my point of view is if I bring an adult to my team, the adult is going to deliver the results. I shouldn't have to spend time, quote unquote, managing you. Because I don't want to manage a child, right? You follow what I mean? So that's where
I follow 100% what you mean. For me, when I did it, it was about connection, right? It was
and I get that. Yes,
purposeful intention, one-on-one attention. Because the week gets going, people get busy, and I am letting people do their thing.
Yes,
and they come to me when they have a problem, and I help solve it, or whatever the case may be. But for me, as John talked about systems, that was a system that worked for me. It was intentional, and I had it down. Now the backside of that, the downside of that is people get used to it. Right, here comes Rouff. He's coming around Friday afternoon, Monday morning. I better have something for him. So you do have to switch it up once in a while so that people aren't just telegraphing it and anticipating it. It's a little bit of psychology behind it. But I found for me that system worked because I was able to see where people were at starting their week, where they were headed into the weekend, and it was more one-on-one rather than group meetings. What I found was group meetings on Friday afternoon turned into exactly what Andersen said. How fast can we get out of here and get to the bar? That kind of mentality. It turns into, and it's important to have that social time and connection time with people. But Friday afternoons in particular, for me, when I had group meetings, it always turned into nothing got done, and that wasn't the point.
You know where it's important, Roofy, and I'm glad you brought this up. And I see your comment there, John Jacobs, Jigglehammer Smith. Sometimes I feel like my manager is a child and I have to take care of him. Yeah, you need to get a new manager. But what I do appreciate about your comment, Roofy, and here's where I think people drop the ball with remote work. So, and how would I be an expert in this? Well, I'm an expert in this. I started a remote company before remote stuff was famous and before the internet, before pandemic. I know how to build remote companies. I know how to manage remote people. How do you do it? Like Roofy talked about. You have to intentionally go and quote unquote walk around virtually to connect with the folks. So to the CEOs and the leaders out there who don't know how to manage teams remotely, it's actually quite simple. You intentionally got to block time, and whether it's virtual management by walking around, but it's intentionally knocking on somebody's door saying, hey, we're shaking. What's going on? Just connecting. Right. And that to me was the success to be a success. I was a successful virtual CEO because of exactly that. I learned, Johnny, if I can come on, knock on Matt's door for 5 minutes on a Monday morning and he could take some of my energy, I had him good for the week. Right. And I had to learn that though. I had a colleague come to me and say, Keith, you need to go give 5 minutes to that person. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't really want to. Like, no, trust me. Go give them 5 minutes. They're going to give you 720 minutes of hard work back. That was the greatest lesson I learned as a leader. Like, okay, I did it. And next thing you know, people were just, because it was like the energy they would get from me, right? But I sucked at it. And once I started doing that, Maddie, it just changed the whole culture because people got used to feeling appreciated and feeling recognized and empowered.
Yeah, and what's amazing to me, and I've learned this from you, actually, I love the system that we use, the Roam system.
Yeah.
That there are systems out there that allow you to do that, to see when someone is there and to be able to pop in, right, knock on the door, that kind of thing. So, it's not like you have to go set up a Zoom call, wait for somebody to get online.
Yes.
Remote work is now just part of who we are and part of how work gets done. And there are systems out there that drive that. So, good managers leverage those systems to be able to access their people and be available, right?
That's it. And John Jacobs and Johnny, I know you got to go for a quick second. I know you got to go, Johnny. John Jacobs comes in and says, footprints in the garden are the best fertilizer. What a great quote. That is so true, right? Because when you put those footprints in the garden, you're fertilizing your team. And Johnny, I know you're good, but here's the thing: as I've gotten to know you, I know you're good at it, and I don't even know if you realize it. Because when I talk to you and you talk to your team, I can hear some of the things you say, and you're always on top of your team. You're empowering, you're encouraging, but you're not managing. You're fertilizing. Because I hear you when you talk. I don't even know if you realize it. When you talk to me with your team, you say, I'm meeting with Ben, or I'm doing this and that. That's fertilizing your team.
Yeah, I mean, I got one of my guys right now. He's a big part of the team.
Yeah.
You know, and we all he went through some personal stuff that kind of just beat him down a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, so I've really just kind of having fun with the conversation. So look, dude, you're a fucking big swinging dick. And we had this big conversation about, you know, his big swinging dick, and he was a fucking savage and da. So that was weeks ago. So now, you know, as we finish, when we're communicating, that dick swinging today, you know, it's like a checkpoint,
yes,
because that dick swinging is a positive association to that conversation where I spent 15 minutes building them up.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
BDE, right?
All I got to do is mention the dick swing, and it's like revisiting a 15-minute pump up session.
Yeah, you guys know BDE, right? Big dick energy.
That's exactly
That's what we want to bring.
That's exactly. Hey, coming up to the bottom of the hour here with, the top of the first hour here with Keith, John, and Marty, with Maddie here on Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. Johnny's got a rock and roll. Johnny, you got the crew out here today. What's the big thing happening today in your world with the family?
You know, it's when they're here, it's just kind of what they want to do.
Yeah, I know.
Because, you know, it's holidays or whatever it is. Yeah. Whenever they're here, what makes me happy is them being happy. So I don't really give a shit what we do. You know, it's like whatever I guess whatever it is that they want to do that makes them happy, bam, I'm good.
You know, pal, I'll tell you something, Johnny, I haven't told you this, but you know, Carter's been working with us, eh? So guess who jumped into the fray yesterday? Too, Piper. So I got my daughter working this too. So it's pretty awesome, man.
Nice.
I'm super excited because she's
big as shit, dude.
Yeah, she's doing stuff in the CRM for Roofie, and she texted me a couple days ago. She's like, Dad, I haven't found a job yet. And I knew what the second line was, Johnny. Dad, I haven't found a job yet. Yes, Piper. Do you think you'd have some hours for me? Yes, Piper. So it was, but it's good. She's 14, right? And she wants to work. She wants to make money. And I'm like, because I'm not about handouts. I'm not about handouts. I will help you achieve your goals, and I will help. I will put options in front of you to achieve your goals. But to fuck if you think I'm going to hand you over my keys to my bank account. Nope.
Brother, you literally must be like a pig in shit.
Oh, I am. Yes, brother. I thank you. Yeah, I am. 100%.
When I said pig and shit, I wasn't talking about your daughter. I was talking about you.
No, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, you got your kids basically assisting in your project.
It's exactly it, right? It's a wonderful way to bond, right? And I think, you know, they may not recognize it today, but in years down the road, I think they're going to recognize a lot of really cool things out of that. So I appreciate that.
Totally awesome.
All right, man. Awesome. Let's let the big dude out of the lab this morning. You get after it, my brother from another mother. We had a great week, a nice fun light show here today on this long weekend that I don't understand, but that's what it is.
And I got to go crap out some more salad too.
There you go.
I can feel it bubbling.
Let's get the big man out of here, and we'll restart hour 2 with myself and Matt Rouff. Johnny, have a good one, pal. Take care, okay, brother?
Have a great weekend, Johnny.
All right, there goes Johnny Andersen. You're left with Roofie and Billis on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, the two guys who like to wear their hats backward. I love Roofie's look today. Yeah, I like the look, dude. I'm a fan of the look today.
I'm feeding off of Zeglen energy. I feel like
there you go. So speaking of Zeglen energy, Zeglen was supposed to be here today, Roofie.
Oh yeah.
Should we phone him?
Yeah, give him a call. He bailed. What happened?
I don't know, but he was going to arrive. Maybe he got caught up in the long weekend somewhere. Let's phone him and have some fun with it. Because I got this phone here now, I feel like I just want to call people.
Play with it, right? It's a new toy.
We just want to phone people. So let's see if we can get AJ on the line here and see if he's going to join the show here this morning. Jimmy, do we know if AJ is joining the show here today? I don't know if we do know if AJ is joining the show here today. So we're going to call him up. And let's see if Zeglen decides to answer the call here on Mornings in Live with Keith and Friends. 204-770. Oh, I shouldn't probably
don't say that out loud. He's going to have my aunt calling him. My aunt's got a little crush on AJ. My 70-year-old aunt.
I know Zeglen well enough that I suspect that his phone's not around. It's sitting in the gym somewhere.
Right.
He's probably left with Marty's keys. And then Jimmy, I want to get to Jim. We're going to throw a deep dive on there after AJ doesn't answer the call here. I want to get into a good conversation with Maddie around the science-backed system for building unstoppable routines.
Hello, you've reached.
Yeah, no, Zeglen's on Andersen here this morning. So Jimmy, let's do that, brother. Let's get into a conversation with Maddie on the science behind the science-backed system for building unstoppable routines. Oh, there's Zeglen coming in. He's coming. He's popping in there. There he is. Let's bring in the man of the second hour, AJ Zeglen here. What's going on, brother? We were phoning you.
Oh, is that who you're? I just, it's funny. I just saw my phone going off there, and I was like, oh, I wonder who's calling me. I don't recognize the number.
There you go. That's why you didn't answer, because you didn't recognize the number.
Well, because I was logging in, man. I was like, I can't jump on a phone call now. I got stuff to do, man.
Hey, you missed the first hour. We were talking about, I didn't know you were busy and that you weren't scheduled to be here. We were talking about pressing big men. We were talking WWE. We were talking about Johnny pressing guys, talking about Andre the Giant and shit. Yeah, so because it started because we called Kevin Owens, who was on the show yesterday, not the wrestler Kevin Owens, but a big 7-foot former basketball player, hey, Matty? And he, and then Brophy brought up the fact that we're talking about the WWE wrestler. Then we got into pressing big men, and John was talking about how he was pressing big men. He had to hold guys by the nuts. What was it, Matty? The nuts and the neck.
Nuts and neck for the 400-pounders to get them over their head.
Yeah, the nuts. The nuts.
Easy to remember.
And it's like I played football and I was a center, so I had people's hands on my nuts all the freaking time.
Oh yeah.
So actually, I gotta ask the question.
Back of the hand, though.
Back of the hand. If I got a squeeze, there was a problem.
I've always wanted to ask this question of people who played center in football. So if I'm the quarterback and you're the center, like it's like where are my hands, Matty? Are they in your asshole? Are they on your nuts? Like how does? I'm not being serious. How does it work? Like,
back of the hands are up there, right?
Like on the
and so when he calls the snap, he gives a little bump like that, and the ball comes up into his hand. So you're passing the ball.
Wait, so when I say hut, I'm actually slapping the back of your ass.
Well, it might not be hut because it might be a trick call. We're trying to draw a D off.
However, I want you to snap. So I guess the point I'm making is when I want you to snap.
I'm not actually listening to his call. I'm feeling his hands.
Oh yeah.
At least that's the way we did it in 1989.
AJ, you too? Yeah, because I know AJ, you played ball too. That's how it works. You snap the bottom of the cheeks.
Yeah. Like I was a running back, not a quarterback, so I didn't. I never received the snap, but yeah, that's how it was, right? Especially if it's noisy and you're dealing with noise and different stuff like that. And it can be a little bit distracting. So everyone else out of the peripheral vision, like they're watching the ball, and then you got the snap count, the cadence, which sometimes is just fake, right? It's a faulty cadence just to throw the defense off.
Yeah.
The center's just really responding to feeling, the top of his hand hit up underneath on the back of the nutsack.
Know that.
Yeah.
I always
hand on the gooch, man.
Yeah, there you go. It's there. It's down there. Trust me.
Yeah.
This might have been the greatest thing I've
heard. I still talk about that. And he says, I spent way too much time with my hands on your ass, dude. Like.
I don't know if this is talked very much about in sports. I think it's like, Roofy, this is why I love this show. We talk about the things that nobody else talks about. And right now we're talking about where men's hands go to hut the ball.
Yeah, you got to tap.
Like, is it in the gooch there? Is it on the sack? Is it underneath the left and right cheek? And it's just in there. It's just in there, just like that.
It's touching gently and then a little tap. That's it.
Hey,
I haven't learned the trick yet.
I want to put Zeglen on the spot here this morning, and I know he's not, just because I want to have some fun. So, Age, is there something on your mind you would like to talk about today? Is there a rant? Is there something like, I got something that I've been thinking about. And then you're like, and it doesn't have to be purposely for right now, but just thinking, I've been kind of hanging on something for a couple of weeks, a few months. Maybe you got something on your mind. Well, because yesterday was Juneteenth, and I decided yesterday that in the lab, we don't celebrate days anymore. We're not celebrating Mother's Day or birthday or Juneteenth or Father's Day or fucking AJ Zeglen's birthday, or it's not celebrating any. We're done celebrating a day because we celebrate every day.
Okay.
Too many mediocrity supports picking a day. We support daily events. So I'm curious, what's on your mind here today, brother? Anything?
So it's funny that you asked that. So something that I was thinking about yesterday. So they filled our ditches in LaSalle.
Okay.
So we don't have a ditch anymore, but after you got to seed it, right? So I've been standing out a lot of evenings with my sprayer, with my hose, just watering my grass seed. Lots of time to think. And I've been thinking about obviously how for my Invictus, from a mental health and performance business, I really do have to make some content for it.
Oh, Matty,
right?
You think he needs to make some content?
Yeah.
We know someone who can help him with that.
No, which I self-admittedly, I just, struggle with following through on that, with making social media content. So I was sitting there and I was like, hey, if I'm going to do that, like, what are some ideas? What are some topics that I would want to talk about that I think would be helpful in general? Not only for people in the field of sports, but whether business or just in life. And so I was actually just thinking yesterday, one of the topics I was like, this would be a great thing to introduce, to make a video on, is the difference between fault and responsibility. And because I think a lot of people spend a lot of time just being like, well, that's not my fault. It's not my fault this happened, or it's not my fault this happened to me. It's not my fault. And it's like, it's true, it's not your fault. It might not be your fault, but still, where does your responsibility lie in the situation, right? And what can you bring to it? So, and I think it could just be something that could be applicable to a lot of different areas of our life. So I was like, hey, that would make a really good, some really good content. So when I start making some social media stuff, so so that was one thing that was recently on my mind.
Let's stay there. That is awesome. Because here's the hook. Is it your fault, or is it your responsibility, or is it both?
Yeah.
Because often we will, I don't want to paint a broad brush, but Roofy, I'm suspecting that humans typically would offload responsibility and assign fault to somebody else.
Yeah, well, everybody's trying to get the monkey off of their back, right? Push it off there. It wasn't me. It's not my responsibility. But I feel like you can have accountability, and you can recognize in a situation that what happened wasn't due to some behavior that you had, but you had responsibility for either the behavior to happen or not happen. And as leaders, I think about it from a leadership perspective mostly. You got it as a leader. You take that responsibility. There's another word that we talk about here, which is accountability, right? So talk about the difference between responsibility and accountability. Responsibility is your obligation to get something done. Accountability is your obligation to get to the result. That's how I see it, right?
Dude, that's brilliant.
You might not be doing the work yourself. You're not responsible to do the work, but you're accountable for the work to get done.
AJ, what perpetuated that thought? Did something come through your world? That a client bring something up? I got to think something precipitated that thought process for you.
Yeah, no. So I've been doing a lot of work helping Team Manitoba get ready for the Canada Games. Been working with a lot of athletes, a lot of teams. You have a lot of teams that have now been constructed of a lot of really high-level athletes that maybe haven't ever played together, though. So you're forming these teams in a short amount of time. They got to go compete against the other best teams in Canada. So I've been running a lot of sessions with them on just, how to build a team, how to construct a team, how to trust each other, and so part of that has been about, on that topic. It's been something that was like brought up, and it's been something then that we've touched upon and kind of brought into the different sessions, so a quick example of that, how that might look in the world of sports, right? So it doesn't matter what your sport is, hockey, whatever. So let's say, something happens, there's a bad turnover on the ice, other team comes down and scores. And then typically what a lot of people do, this might be an extreme example, but someone then is sitting on the bench and they're like, oh, well, it's not my fault. Like, I wasn't out there. I didn't turn the puck over. I wasn't. And then I would challenge them to be like, okay, yeah, Not your fault. You weren't even on the ice. That's fine. What's your responsibility now?
Yeah.
So, and how does that show up, right? Well, your responsibility is to your teammate. That teammate gets back to the bench. You better do your best to pick them up, right? Let them know, hey, it's okay. We got your back. Like, you got this. You can do this. You know, talk to them in a positive way. Support them. Make them feel that they're still capable up there. Help them keep their confidence high. Where else is your responsibility? Well, now you're going to step out for your next shift. Maybe you're down a goal. Maybe you're whatever. Behind in the game, maybe the game's tied, whatever the situation is, you now have a responsibility to go out and do your role and do your job on the team to the best of your abilities to help your team get that back or help your team have a positive outcome, right? So even though it's not your fault, you still have responsibility in the situation. That would just be a very kind of plain example that you might see in the world of sports, especially in the Canada Games. We got some athletes that are pretty young. We're seeing athletes anywhere from as young as 14 or 15 years old all the way up to 21 years of age. Wow. So, a lot of times people are always so concerned about whether something is their fault or not. And so, just trying to help them realize that doesn't matter. We're not trying to look for whose fault it is. Just immediately in this situation, look and see what your responsibility is in that situation, and then do that to the best of your abilities.
I find with hockey, because the way that plays form, and unlike football where it's a start and stop, I find with hockey, this is a great example of fault and responsibility, because it might not be your fault on the ice because you might not be in the play or touching the puck, but it's your responsibility to do something within the play itself. And I find with sports, that's a great example of fault and responsibility, because when you look at where a play starts and where it ends, and it might be a minute and a half, 2 minutes of a whole sequence of events happening. And within that, fault and responsibility shifts along the way. And that, to me, that's fascinating, because everybody has to be accepting fault, accepting a responsibility, and being accountable to have success.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say two things, because I could get into hockey talk all day long, right? Yeah. So hockey is a read and react sport, right? Yeah. It's about time and space.
Yes.
So whether you're in the play or not, you got to know where the puck is and where it's going to go, right? You got to read and react, because things are happening so fucking fast. Yes. You got to be able to do that. That's why some of the best players aren't the most talented. The ones are the ones who know how to move around the ice and know where to be when they need to be. I was slow as shit. I admit it. Speed was not my thing, but I knew how to take away ice and give ice and that kind of thing. But I don't want to talk about hockey. I want to talk about what AJ said, if I can take a second. And as you used a word that I love in teams and hockey, obviously, it was trust, right? That's what you're building when you start building a team. I'm interested, AJ, when you're building a team of 14 to 20-year-olds who've never been on the ice together, how are you helping them to have that trust when they step on the ice?
Yeah, for sure. Great question. So I'm really trying to get them to embrace the amount of influence and power that their actions have, right? So typically I'm like, hey, if the three of us are sitting in a room and I'm telling you guys like, hey, I'm so excited to be here, man. I can't wait for this. This is so important to me. And then every single day I show up to practice half an hour late and I'm not ready to go. And we go out there to perform our drills and my effort isn't where it should be and my effort's low. Then it doesn't matter what I'm saying to you guys. You guys are going to base your opinion off of my actions. And you guys are going to be like, I don't know if we could really trust this guy. I know he says the right things, but his actions, his habits, there's no evidence here that we should be able to trust him, right? Whereas everyone's played on a team where, you'll have a player that just everyone respects based off their work ethic, right? And you're just like, hey, I could trust this guy in any situation. I know you said you played football. I played football too. Matt, and I feel like, what a sport of trust, right? You're literally, just relying on everyone to do their job and trust that if he does his job and he does his job and he does his job, then that's going to allow me to do my job. But that trust is built through our actions, right? So I'm always trying to communicate to the athletes, the young ones, be like, hey, like what are the things that you want to be a great teammate, you want to be a great player? What do those people do on a daily basis? How, they probably show up on time. They pay attention. They ask questions. Their effort is always high in every drill, every rep. They probably pick their teammates up and talk positively about them and support them. And if you're consistently doing these things, you're going to look around the room at the people beside you, and you're going to have a certain level of trust based on what they showed you, right? People are going to believe what you show them more than what you say. So at the end of the day, you're ultimately going to be judged on your actions. So make sure you're not only saying the right things, but you're doing those things consistently. And it's probably got the quickest way for us to build trust on a team.
And that's why I love sports, because that shows us what you need to do in life too, right? So you guys talk about it. You and Johnny Keith talk about it all the time about, your kids are going to follow what you do, not what you say, right?
Yes, totally.
All that stuff. And that's one of the reasons I love sports, and I encourage everybody to be involved in sports, because it teaches those life lessons. That's awesome stuff, AJ.
Building trust, building accountability, and taking responsibility this morning on Mornings and Alive with Keith and Friends, and our buddy AJ Zeglen, the owner and leader of Invictus Mental Health Performance. Guys, I want to pivot the conversation to beyond motivation, the science-backed system for building unstoppable routines. People talk about, I'm trying to be motivated. I need to be motivated. We don't believe in motivation. We believe in creating non-negotiables and getting after it. But there are certain people that are struggling to find and build new routines, or find yourself constantly falling off track. Well, let's reveal the secrets to effortlessly integrating powerful habits into your daily life, transforming results in a fraction of the time. Let's get after it, Jimmy.
Ready to go below the obvious? Most men see the surface, the failed gym memberships, the broken promises to themselves. But when we crack through the misconceptions, we discover the hidden complexity of lasting change. Deep dive, habit stacking. This isn't willpower, it's behavioral architecture. A precise formula that transforms ordinary routines. Layer by layer, we see how your brain creates automatic pathways, neural networks that make new habits inevitable. The result? Men reporting 3 times better consistency.
With consistency, we set audacious goals, we get motivated for a few days, and then life happens. Gym membership goes unused. Ask AJ, he runs a gym. The healthy eating plan falls apart, and then we're back to hitting that freaking snooze button. The problem isn't a lack of desire, Roofie. It's often a flawed approach to habit formation. Habit stacking, a term popularized by behavioral science, is a simple yet profoundly effective strategy. And instead of trying to force a new habit into your already busy schedule, you stack it onto an existing habit. And Johnny is an expert in this. And the formula is very simple. After this, you do this. You brush your teeth, you do that. You tie your shoes, you do that. Leveraging the power of establishing routines, making the new habit almost automatic. The cue for the new habit is the completion of an old established habit. The principle applies to all areas of life. If you want to improve your men's health, after I brush my teeth, I'm going to do 10 push-ups. After I finish dinner, I'm going to ask my partner about their day. Yada, yada, yada. AJ, Maddie, let's talk about habit stacking and the game changer for anyone looking to build a more disciplined and productive life without feeling overwhelmed. I want to talk a little bit about helping people getting beyond motivation and working on creating non-negotiable. Talk about, but AJ, let's start with you, brother. The power of habit stacking and making progress inevitable, and not trying to find motivation, but programming habit stacks into your life.
Yeah, I mean, a sequence of habits, what we often refer to as a routine, it's just so powerful, right? Because each one of those individual elements to the routine, each one of those individual habits that construct the routine are helpful in themselves, right? And when we combine them together and we create a routine, our brain and our body recognize that familiarity, and they know what to expect next, right? So when you're an athlete and you go to warm up before a game, and you're like, okay, I'm doing this activation exercise and this stretch and this activation exercise, and I listen to this song. All of those individual activation exercises, stretches, listening to that music individually gives you a benefit, right? But when we put them together too, your brain and body knows like, oh, I recognize this pattern. I'm getting ready to compete, right? So it helps physically and mentally get us in the proper place where we know that we're getting ready to compete. So again, that's just using the sports analogy, but that same process happens in any aspect of our life.
I've never thought about it that way, Rufy. Before I throw it to you, I've never thought about it that way, because this morning, as I was going through my morning non-negotiables,
right,
as you reframed it, I was getting ready for my show. I wasn't thinking about it that way, but it's me getting my body into what's happening now.
For sure, absolutely, yeah. And even on a subconscious level,
yes,
your brain knows like, hey, Keith's getting ready to like perform, right? To do a show, right?
Yes.
And this is what we do to get ready. And and each individual thing, like I'm sure you probably already got some form of workout in this morning, and your other stuff going on. Those things individually are great for a number of reasons, right? But you put them together with a few other things, and you've made this routine for yourself before you come out here and perform at your best every day, being live, right?
AJ, is there a risk of creating complacency or taking things for granted by making something such a non-negotiable? You kind of just go through the motions of it. Am I making sense to you? Or is it as long as we have awareness when we're going through it, that's the point of it?
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly there with the awareness piece, right? So, I mean, anything in life, nothing in life, I always say, is inherently good or bad on its own. It's how we use it. And I find oftentimes if we're operating in one extreme or the other, we're probably going to eventually find ourselves not in a good place, right? Even on something that we maybe was intentioned to be really good when we started out. But you'll see people on the extremes of other end of fitness, of just any type of ideas that they have, of politics, of anything. And I find when people get on either, far end of those extremes, it's usually not very helpful or productive, right? We could do the same thing for that with any habits or routines or anything that we take over, right? We always want to have some ability to adapt, some level of flexibility, some, you know what I mean? We don't want to be so rigid and so whatever that if I miss my morning cup of coffee, that all of a sudden my whole day is going to completely start around me. I'm going to have a meltdown, right? We don't want to rely on it that heavily, right? So it's like most things in life, right? We want to have a certain sense of balance to everything that we're doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, have you been one who has needed to have motivation in your life? You've been a very successful businessman, athlete throughout your life, or have you learned early habits and routines in your life early enough where you didn't rely on the idea of motivation?
So I'm going to say both.
Okay.
Both. Because I was writing a few words down, and AJ spoke a few of them, which was great. For me, it's about so it's about a little bit about fluidity, right? Because the idea that being rigid equals potentially being fragile, right? If you're so rigid that you can't go off of, you can't improvise a little bit, or you're going to be fragile, right? So that missing that cup of coffee is going to mess you up for the day, right? But so you got to be a little bit fluid with those things. So to answer your question directly, Keith,
I like that.
I think life is, it's not all this or that. Some days you gotta talk, you gotta have self-talk, and you gotta say, I got to do this. I got to do this. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's my non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Other days it just happens naturally, and you're in the flow, right? And so it goes back to me. I was thinking about this when you started, which is it starts with awareness, right? Even taking a step back from awareness of your habits. We all have habits, whether we're aware of them or not. So for me, when I moved, I spent a lot of time. Trust me, I had a lot of years, a lot of days where I was not even aware of what I was doing, man. Like I was just doing things and living and was not living in the moment. So it starts with that awareness of what the habits are that you have that you can stack on top of, changing the ones that are bad, adding new good habits, and adding other good habits on top of it. So for me, that's about it's about awareness, even of what you're doing every day. There's so many people walking around. We talked about it before. so many people walking around and not knowing what the hell they're doing. They're just on rote, lessons that they've learned that aren't healthy for them. So awareness definitely is for me the key.
I like
right?
your idea
just being aware of the habits that you have, even if they're bad. Starting with being aware of them can help you to change them.
I like the idea of fluidity over fragility. You're right, because I like AJ's example that if you don't get your morning coffee and because the coffee machine broke, is it going to wreck your day or are you going to work through it? Right. And to some people, it wrecks their day, doesn't it, Zeglen?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love your analogy there of if you're so rigid, then you become fragile.
Yeah.
I feel like as soon as you said that, I was instantly able to get like a mental picture of just being so rigid that you're breakable, you're fragile, right? Like you have no ability to move. I'm probably going to steal that one if you don't mind.
Yeah,
that's a
good
one. Yeah, we're not stealing. We're sharing. I share willingly.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that analogy, man. I love that concept of being, so rigid that you become fragile. I think people, I love any way to like articulate an idea that I feel that will give people like a strong visualization that they'll be able to kind of like see the concept, right?
You know what's interesting with that concept, Maddie and AJ, was I would love to, we'll bring it up with Andersen next week, because Andersen's a rigid fella, and that's not with it's not with judgment, it's with grace. Rigid, and he knows his non-negotiables, he knows his routines, which is what provides him success. But to your point, gentlemen, at what point does that rigidness make perhaps John fragile, right? And because if you can't move within that structure, do you become breakable?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I think about. Oh, go ahead, AJ. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I was just going to say, I think too, like, what would be the best way to describe this? I think too, like, foundationally, you can be have structure, right? Set there. Yes. And then on top of that, you could be flexible on top of that. So an example would be, we love working out, right?
Yes.
So an example of that then would be in the workout capacity. So I feel like I need to do something to work out every day, right? Yes. I need some sort of level of physical activity.
Too. Yeah.
So that's foundational. That's I'm maybe rigid in that sense, but I'm flexible on top of that, where if all of a sudden, let's say I'm really busy in the gym and I don't get to do my regular workout that I wanted to do in the gym here, and maybe I was going to do a leg day and I had this plan, I'm going to do squats and lunges and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I run out of time so that's okay. Like I can adapt to that, but I know I'm going to do something. Maybe when I get home, I'm doing walking lunges around the backyard or whatever it is. Or maybe I'm just getting out and being active. So I'm able to be fluid in the type of workout that I do. And if I miss the workout that I had planned, it's not going to completely wreck my day. I'm going to just adapt and be flexible and get some type of exercise and activity in. But the foundational concept of me working out is not going to change, if that makes sense. So there's almost some rigidness, some structure there, but flexibility layered on top of it. So my core values still exist. They just might show up in different ways based on a number of different variables that come up throughout the day.
That's awesome. And so I think about Keith, you mentioned Johnny, so I'm going to defend him a little bit in that I don't think John is fragile. And the proof, the observation is he can go to Mexico, he can go to Japan, he can be in San Francisco, he can have family over. He's living his life. People who become fragile because of rigidity aren't able to.
Great example. That's a great example.
To modify, be in a different location, handle somebody being in the room when they're used to being alone, whatever the case may be.
That's a great example. Hey, we're talking beyond motivation, the science-backed system for building unstoppable routines with myself, AJ Zeglen and Matt Rouff this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. And guys, here's how it works, right? The power to transform your life lies not only in grand gestures, but in consistent small actions. Habit stacking, your key to unlocking the power, making progress effortless, and building the life that you truly desire. Guys, embrace the compound effects of habits and start your day right. This is Mornings in the Lab, your daily accountability partner, helping you guys build a life of purpose and discipline. And that's our deep dive topic for this morning in the lab.
Love it.
It's all very interesting, fellas, but I'm still hung up on the fact that Roofy's aunt has a crush on AJ.
AJ's hearing it for the first time. So AJ, I got to tell you. So a couple of weeks ago, I went down. I live in upstate New York, and I've got a cousin who's graduating from medical school in transition. And I took my aunt, and we grabbed a U-Haul and went down in the van, and we're listening to the show, and we're just listening to it. She'd never laid eyes on you, but she's like, "Oh, I like this guy. I'm attracted to the way he talks." She's 72 years old. So she's asked me about you after the fact. What about that guy? What about that AJ guy? So you got a fan in upstate New York, AJ.
Oh man, I appreciate it. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that with me.
We've been building AI Keith, this character that is out there causing bedlam on the social platforms, and we've been having some fun with it. And I said, Jimmy, if AI Keith wants to make appearances throughout the show, please just drop him in whenever. So Roofy, we might just have AI Keith popping in every now and then with commentary like he has today.
Well, that was awesome. I can't believe how fast and how awesome that is. That's just I've said it before. I've said it in front of other people, Keith, what you're doing with AI in terms of the use of it and using it really, really effectively, but also honestly, and you're not trying to represent AI Keith as somebody else.
No, we're just having some fun.
This is the way it's meant to be used.
That's it. Hey, Zeglen, I know you got to rock and roll. Do you have 2 extra minutes for us?
You know what? I usually would. I usually love it. I actually got to go jump on the ice. Actually, believe it or not.
Oh boy!
That's exciting.
We have a player that plays with us that actually plays out in Germany now, but he came back after a knee injury and had surgery, so we're rehabbing that. And I got him out on the ice now, so we're out on the ice. So I just got to go. Just evaluate, the skating stride and see how it looks, see if there's overcompensation and not. Take some video out on the ice of some skating drills that we're going through. So it's not often I'm out on the ice.
I know. So
that's awesome.
So you're not dropping any breaking news that you're skating with Nikolai Ehlers here in Winnipeg after he may have re-signed his contract. You're not breaking no news for us today.
Man,
Did he sign?
No, he hasn't. That's why I'm having some fun with Zeglen here. No, he hasn't.
I saw him attached to the Rangers, and I was like, okay.
Oh, he's not going to the Rangers, Roofy. Fuck, man. No, actually, no. He's not going to the Rangers. He's re-signing in Winnipeg. I'm pretty confident.
Dude, I'm honestly never know any, like, for as close as I can be sometimes.
I know you know nothing. Yes.
I honestly never know anything, man. I have buddies that text me stuff after, and they're like, hey, I just read that this happened. I'm like, oh, did that happen? Like, that's what we're doing? I have no idea. Like, I'm just busy working, I just want to say really quick, though, before we go, Matt, it was great to finally meet you. I've
awesome,
heard Keith talk about you, heard your name come up a lot, seen a bunch of comments that you've left for us that are always really nice and really positive. And so I was excited when I logged on today. I'm like, this is him, man. This is the Roofy, the guy that Keith's always talking about. It's awesome to see you face to face and get a chance to chat with you. It's made my day.
And AJ's going to
do it again real soon.
I think next Friday for Free for All Friday, Roofy, AJ is going to be physically here in the lab. Jimmy, I dropped a picture for you there. If you can quickly throw it up there. AJ is going to be right over there. Right over there. So what you guys are seeing is my point of view right now. I just took a picture a couple minutes ago. So next Friday, fingers crossed, everything works out. Zeglen's going to be right over there across from me in the lab for Free for All Friday. We're going to have some fun next Friday.
That'll be a blast.
That'll be awesome.
Looking forward to it. All right, thanks, guys. I got to run.
Good luck, man.
Let's get out of here. Let's get him out of here. Roofy, do you got to roll too, or do you want to stick around for Community Corner with me and wrap the last half hour with me, brother? Your call. Totally your call.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll. Actually, I'm gonna get back at it, finding us some people who want to work with us and keep this thing growing.
You just get the hell out of here. A lot of fun, dude. I love having you on Friday, and I gotta call you up, man. Jimmy, so I met Roofy, whatever it was, 6-7 weeks ago, and he's like, I don't know about this camera shit. I don't know if I'm good on live, and I don't know if I look good, and if the lighting's good, and all this, like this and that. Really? You fucking rocking it, man. You belong here. You belong in front of the camera.
Today. Yeah.
You belong in front of the camera. You belong with his words. You're doing it awesome. You're kicking it live, and I'm so fucking excited to have you on the team, man.
Thanks, man. I'm excited too. I'm getting it after it every day with you. But I will tell you this: I'm gonna put our little plug in. This is what having some reps helps.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I feel this is my third time on camera with you, and I am feeling a different flow about myself. Right? I'm bringing myself. When the first couple times I was on the camera, I was like, "Who am I? What am I doing?" Blah, 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 blah. Now it's like, all right, we're flowing, we're talking, we're having conversation. Before I would have notes up and I'm looking around and I'm just flow and just be yourself. So getting the reps in, which is something I think we can help people do. So let's love that
example, brother. Yeah, we'll keep. We're going to keep getting our friends with those reps in. Brother, I dropped you a little bit. I dropped you a text last night around our round table. I'm going to work on that today. I'm excited about that.
I read it. I started writing back as I was sitting on the couch, and that's how I ended up falling asleep. Was reading that, and not that it was boring. But it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm I got to think about this, and next thing you know, it's 6:15, and my alarm's going.
Dude, I'm there's sometimes I'm laying in bed or on the couch with my phone like this, and next thing you know, it'll fall on my head because I dropped it. You're like, oh fuck, Keith, why the black eye? Drop my phone on my face, right?
All right, man.
All right, Roofy.
Catch up with you later.
You betcha, pal. All right, let's get Roofy out of here.
Jimmy. All right, cool.
Jimmy, you and me left. This is the last half an hour of the show, the Keith and Jimmy show, Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends. Hey, Jimmy, let's not tell everybody, but this is my favorite part of the show. Yeah, the last 30 minutes. I don't like hanging out with Andersen and Marty and Zeglen and Roofy. The best part is this part. Just you and me here. Yeah, to fuck with all of you. Hey, McCarthy, why don't you call me? I think you're listening right now. What's going on, everybody? I'm Keith Billis. I'm your host. The host with the most. Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends. We're getting after it every day here. Free for all Fridays is what you've slid in here to today, where we just keep it light. That's the goal, to keep it light. We're going to get into the community corner as I work to get myself sorted out. There it is right there. The community corner is a part of the show where we look at all the topics we did not get to today, Jimmy. Here's the good news. We're ready for next week. And admittedly, guys, here's the thing. We're also focused on perfection. No, we just focus on progress here, which means that we're ready to go and sometimes we don't get to it. But let's get to this. It's time for the community corner where we connect LinkedIn and Substack on Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends. And today we're going to dive into some stories that are challenging everything we think we know about success, health, and accountability. Are you ready to have your assumptions shaken up? Well, we're going to start with this. Boom! The strategic leader's secret is staying grounded. What if the most powerful leaders aren't the ones who never say thank you, but the ones who make gratitude and strategic practice? Well, Andrew from Weekly's Strategic Mindset drops some serious wisdom about how the best executives he knows have rituals that keep them connected to their purpose. He talks about a nonprofit CEO who keeps thank you notes from clients on her pinboard, not for publication, but as an intentional practice to prevent the gradual drift from service to self-service. Jimmy, Andrew asks a question that hit me hard when I read it. What practices do you use to stay connected to your purpose when success starts feeling normal? Because let's be honest, guys, when we start winning, it's easy to forget what we're actually winning for. There's a true story. Keeping the conversation over on Substack. The brutal truth about fitness that no one wants to hear. Guys, can we talk about the elephant in the motherfucking gym? Wow, Isabel Mohan just celebrated 5 years since completing Couch to 5K. And she's serving up some uncomfortable truths that the fitness industry doesn't want you to hear. And her headline says it all. Running probably won't get you to your dream body. What? No, what? No, actually, I know it's not going to. She's a 15 to 20 kilogram lighter than when she started, but it had nothing to do with running and everything to do with changing your eating habits. Between April and August, she was running 3 times a week and didn't lose a single pound. Yes. I don't like this one, Jimmy. You're not going to listen. No, You're not going to fucking lose any weight and get a great body by doing that bullshit. You got to get into you got to lift heavy weights. You got to eat some good protein. There's how it works. That's it. I don't like that one. You're not going to, no. Let me just come back to you. Isabel, go lift heavy things. Go lift heavy things, Isabel. Go eat some good whole ingredient foods and stop doing that. Let's keep it going here. Boom, boom, boom. Martin Cook did something that took incredible courage. Yeah, he shared his prostate cancer diagnosis on LinkedIn. Listen, if you guys still think you're going to go and get a lean, jacked up body because you're going to go and do some crazy shit, get into the kitchen. That's where it's going to start. Martin Cook did something that took incredible courage. He shared his prostate cancer diagnosis on LinkedIn. That takes a lot of courage. But this isn't a sympathy post, you guys. No, it's a wake-up call. Martin says he's been pondering the post for a month, questioning whether to share something so private. You know what? Fuck, man. Why do people just still get caught up on sharing shit? Like, come on. If something you're going to say is going to help change somebody else's life, say it. Say it. There's somebody out there right now who's battling prostate cancer. There's somebody out there right now who's battling something that they can't get over. Then get out and say it. Don't hold it in. Just people, man, I got to get this off my chest. For all the men in your lives, partners, husbands, fathers, sons, brothers, just go to your GP for that simple blood test. Get it taken care of, you guys. And listen, don't hold back. Too many of you folks are trying to be fucking something else. Too many of you folks are trying to pretend. Too many of you fucking people are like, oh, I gotta be perfect. I don't want to tell everybody my truths. No, be human. Get in front of the fucking camera and be human. The AI world's taking over all the bullshit, all of us. So get out there and be human. Communicate. Be authentic. And check your nuts. Sometimes, man, I don't know. Why everything you know about accountability is wrong. Yep. Why everything you know. It's true. Rajul Kastua just blew up everything we think we know about accountability with one simple question. In her workshop, she asks, when something goes wrong in your team, what's your first thought? Whose fault is it? Or how can we fix it? There you go. Fault and responsibility. Fuck, man. People. She's calling out the biggest myth in leadership, that accountability equals blame. AJ, you listening? The truth? No, accountability equals ownership. She says if it's your project, it's your responsibility, even if someone else made the mistake. As leaders, we own the process, not just the results. Ownership builds trust. Blame breaks it. Well, Rajul's reframing accountability from a weapon we use against people to a tool we use to build stronger teams. This is the leadership mindset shift that changes everything. You heard it. Accept the responsibility. Accept the accountability. Don't blame. If you're the leader, it's yours. If you're the leader, it's all yours. It goes back to what I said earlier. If there's something inside of you, if you want to say something, be the leader and say it. Don't pretend. These are the stories. These are the stories we talk about this morning on the Community Corner. They're about the deeper truths that actually matter. And which one of these stories hit you hardest? Well, geez, which one hit Keith hardest? Is it about losing weight by outrunning a bad diet? Not going to happen. Nope, not going to happen. Is it about holding stuff in because we don't want to be real? We want to be fake? No, go be real. I'm with you, Brophy. I'm right there, man. Right on, brother. I appreciate you. All right, let's go to the creator spotlight. Jimmy, I feel like I got a little bit of an edge today. Yeah, let's get it going here on the LinkedIn side of things. Yeah, I might know this guy, but I don't. Nope, I just looked at him here. All right, you ever think about, let's do this. I got to get some new music. We can add to the back soundtrack here. You ever think about what it would feel like to leave behind your entire career? Land in a country where you barely speak the language and rebuild your life from scratch? Rebuild? Jimmy, I've been having problems using saying build. I've been noticing as I've been recording with stuff, is rebuild? Build. Yeah, I'm just building stuff. Build. Just because you know you're meant for something more, that's not a wild what if. Wow, this creator we're going to celebrate today did exactly that. Instead of chasing corporate comfort, he put everything on the line for his family and his freedom. No fallback plan, just a suitcase and a big vision. He built a $3.2 million business solo. He partnered with the likes of Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. He recorded trainings for some of the world's top business masterminds. He forgot to call me. I'm over here. 431-300-3005. You can call me. Some of the greatest business mastermind right here. Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. Keith Billis. 431-300-3005. Yeah. And now this guy's helping others escape the content hamster wheel and land clients on their terms. To you to meet today's Creator Spotlight, Mark Firth, entrepreneur, family man, and the definition of courage in action. He's on a mission to help 100,000 consultants and professional service providers stop chasing leads, build real authority, and finally win the freedom they're after. I invite you to go check him out, Mark Firth, over on LinkedIn. Mark, here's how it works. Love to have you on the show. Mark is living proof that bold moves done right change everything. And Mark, would love to have you here. Love to take that shiny head of yours and that wonderful glasses and bring him into the lab. Hey, Jimmy, we can compare shiny heads between Mark and Jon Andersen. Yeah, true story. Mark, we'd love to have fun with lots of love here in the lab. Would love to have you here in the lab. True story. We could talk hairstyles. We could talk, just like that. We want to celebrate you. I want to give you the Mornings in the Lab spotlight so we can celebrate somebody in your orbit on the next Community Corner. On Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. God, I was going to say there, Jimmy. Bernard, I see you there, brother. Good day, everyone. Sorry I missed. I've been trying to line up some investors today. Deadline to meet today. Keep me in your prayers, please. Bernard, I'm thinking about you, pal. Thinking about you. Best of luck. Best of luck. Hey, dude, you know what? I would love to see what you're up to. Now, I'm going to be frank. I'm busy investing in my own business right now, so I'm not really looking to do outside investments or outside placements. But if there's ways that I can help you, if there's ways that I can provide feedback, if there's ways that I can help, simple as that, the 4 letters, help, I'd like to. So let's connect on LinkedIn. Drop me a note in the community. But if there's anything that I can do to help you, Bernard, glasses off, man. Ears up, glasses off. I'm sincere. I'd love to. Honest to God. So let me know what I can do to help. Yeah, save the bees. I love bees. I love them. I do everything I can to save them. I don't want to kill the bees. Nope. Don't want to kill the bees, Bernard. Thank you for helping us save them. All right, let's keep it going, guys. In the community corner, we're going to get to our next one here. We're going to make it sound like this. And we're going to get after it this year. This guy grew up in a world that told him to fit in, play it safe, and keep it quiet. Then a single football injury tore everything apart. Painkillers, depression, and losing a close friend could have kept him down for good, but he chose to do something most never will. He chose to get honest. He chose to get honest about how messy life can really get. Now, this is a creator who started with nothing but a pen and a pile of regrets. You know what, Jimmy, I like about this? In my experience, people just, I got this, and then they get started. This guy started with a pen and a pile of regrets. And then he wrote music. He wrote music reviews that nobody read. And then he wrote TV scripts. And then he wrote hundreds of commercials. He became a best-selling author, a creative director, and just for fun, once tattooed his old boss's face on his ass. Jimmy, on his own backside at a charity auction. I got to get this guy working in the lab so I can get my face tattooed on his ass. That'd be awesome, Jimmy. Yeah. The guy built an audience of 500,000 by telling the truth, no matter how uncomfortable. Business Athlete Nation, to the crew at Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, I am pleased to introduce you to Kyle Creek. Some people know him as the Captain. Love the hat, brother. Oh, I love your hat. Sometimes the most powerful way to start over is to get real about where you are, and Kyle's the proof. If you're tired of advice that sounds good but means nothing, I invite you to follow him on Substack. And Kyle, here's how it works, brother. Would love to have you on my show. Yep. On this show, Mornings Live with Keith and Friends, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. Would love to have you here with your hat, your beard, your attitude, and everything you've learned along the way. Bring your pen. Leave those regrets aside. Come hang out on the show so I can give you the creator spotlight to shine it on somebody in your world in the next Community Corner on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Woo! Hey guys, my wrestling friends, I appreciate you. Bernard, please reach out, man. I'm so serious, man. Please reach out or send me a text. I'll give you my personal one, but send me a text to the hotline, 431-300-3005. Jimmy, put it up, 431-300-3005. The Mornings in the Lab hotline, phone, text, voicemail. Would love to hear from you guys. I haven't set the voicemail up yet, so we'll get on that here today. Or maybe AI Keith will set the voicemail up for you guys. Jimmy, what a fun show today. We kept it light on purpose. I know we had a bunch of topics that I just didn't get to on purpose. Wanted to keep it light. Johnny had to get out of here at the top of the hour. AJ dropped in later on in the hour. We had my buddy Roofy here. Fuck Jimmy, I love Roofy, man. He's such a good addition to the team. He's so fun. Yeah, let's do that. Maybe we'll do a call by device. I'd love to, brother. Honest to God. Let's today I got my son's grad, so today's not the best day for me. I will be I'm working during the day, but later on this afternoon, evening, I'm pretty tied up. But let's do it, man. Let's get together. Bernard, let me see what I can do to help. Lady Drew, how are you? When speaking, always present verifiable facts. I'm with you, Lady Drew. What's shaking out there in the Carolinas today, Drew? What do you got going on the weekend? Jimmy, huge fan of Lady Drew, showing up with us every single day here. One of our OGs. OGs of what? The OGs of the Mornings in the Lab community, everybody. Yeah, true story. What is that? Well, it's a place where you guys can hang out with us off the show. And while the show is free, we are creating a community for all of us, for the Bernards, for the Lady Drews, for the Adam Holroyds, for the Brophies, for the John Jacobs, for the Zeglens, Billis, is all is out there. You can join by just clicking on the Mornings in the Lab community. Yep. And there is a little bit of a fee, a little bit of an investment, just a smidgen. $3 a month, $15 a month. I think it's $20. I think there's 3 of them, actually. What are you going to get? Lots of love. Lots of love. Lots of habit stacking love. But truthfully, what are you going to get? We're working on it. Deals in the store, special appearances on the show. Right now, if you are a member, we will bring you on the show. So Lady Drew can come on the show. Adam Holroyd can come on the show. Because you're a member of our community, on the Free For All Fridays, there is a seat at the table for you guys to show up and hang out with us on Mornings in the Lab. All right, we're coming up to the top of the hour, which means that it's time to go. What it actually means is that my little Lola, my little Pomeranian, is going to be outside the door here very soon. She's like, oh, Dad's done the show, which means that she wants me to take her out to go for our crap. Lola, not Johnny. No, John. That was earlier on in the show. That was Johnny talking about his craps. This is Lola. Yeah. I bet you if I did this, it's going to sound pretty cool. Let's check this out. I like this drill sound. Okay, well, listen, I'm going to wrap it up. We're back here on Monday, right here in the spot. We got the weekend around us. Guys, don't take the weekend off. Just because it's the weekend here doesn't mean you sit back and be lazy. Get up and get after it. We talk about, there's Drew coming in, washing my dogs and cat, and cleaning my home, as well as taking my dogs for a long walk. We have cow farms here, and we live by, visit them. I live in the country surrounding mountains. I love that, Drew. I love that. Take some pictures for us. We'll have to see them. Okay, so we're going to roll. On behalf of producer Jimmy, on behalf of producer Melissa, Roofy, Zeglen, Andersen, Marty, and everybody, John Jacobs, Brophy, B-Drive, Chris McCarthy, the entire gang, all the passive listeners that are out there hanging out, paying attention to the show. I appreciate you guys. We're going to get out of here, and we are going to work on seeing you guys on where's that sound effect I'm trying to find here, Jimmy? I got to work on my board for Monday. There it is right there. All right, well, listen, guys. On behalf of everybody, we're going to see you guys on Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. This is Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. Let me get out of here. We'll see you guys. Ciao. If you keep it up, this conversation is going to end this afternoon, fellas.